Success! How are we doing? Alright, let's get into the stream. And we can warm up a little bit while I kind of find my bearings. Today's going to be a good one. Today's going to be a good one, folks. How are we doing? Let's get the music up a little bit. Alright, that is good. We can need to get the that's better. Got some color on my face. Hello! How are we doing? How goes it, everyone? Welcome to another jam-packed stream. Today's not good for you, Clarke? I'm sorry to hear that, dude. I hope this stream will go some way in easing your day and cheering you up. But whatever it is you're going through, I hope it goes better, dude. Long time no see. I think you dropped in last stream as well. Welcome back, dude. Oh god, my eyes are not great today. You did not beat me. The Scouser never beats me. For I was there in spirit, and my stream was live. Even if I was not here, The eye was here. I hope it's nothing too serious, Clarke. Gaming, Sin, Bullets, Devono, Scouser, Brandon, how's everyone? Once again, Adidas, if you're about, thank you for the resub. 11 months now. Damn, that's a long time. Thank you so much. Diablo, J Cola, I appreciate you all. Oh, did you? The box is always here. Oh, maybe this is... Maybe I make the thing too loud. The music. It's supposed to be like an ambiance. Ambiance! That's alright, Lost. I appreciate you being here all the same. Sanchez, I don't know what it is with them. They've lost the plot. They have lost the plot. But we had 2 big dev updates dropped this week. The one you're seeing on screen right now, which is from Compulsion Games, South of Midnight. What was everyone's thoughts on South of Midnight? Because that looked pretty spicy to me. I'm actually more interested in that now than I was before. I really liked what I saw. What's everyone's thoughts on it? Oh, Stalker being 150 gig. Yikes. I started downloading the update. I think it was midnight last night. I woke up to take my daughter to school. It was like 8 a.m. and it was still downloading. I finally got it done though. Your best friend got... Dude, I am so sorry to hear that, Clarke. I did hear about it. Some old dude, right? It's been all over the radio. I'm so sorry to hear about that, dude. Apparently they have apprehended the old man that was responsible for it. My thoughts and prayers with you, dude. Hey, when you got pleb internet, Diablo, 145 gig is 145 gig. And it was actually 147. So I'm going to count that as a nearest roundup that's going to 150. My cousin actually lives in Sydenham Hill. One second. I lost my missus because it's her aunt that actually lives there. So I was just calling her without blasting all your ears. But I am sorry to hear about that, dude. My condolences. Derek, it really is. Like they are losing it. So the plan today is to talk about South of Midnight, Indiana Jones, surprise drops this week from left, right, and center, and then we're gonna go into the meltdown of the ponies because that's gonna be special. Your Emelianga, she lives on Sydenham Hill, right? Or did they move? Oh, they don't live there anymore? Oh, because right where your Emelianga lives, there was a shooting. Or used to live. There was a shooting. Come on. That's all. Clarke, no worries at all, mate. Let's hope this stream brings you some, it helps clear your mind a bit. I know nothing's going to take your pain away, but if we can help you just a little bit today, it'll be all worth it. Exactly what Luis says. Hey, Byron. What up, Paul? I mean, yeah, I'll get to the out of control stuff in a bit. Because it's getting crazy out there. It's not making any sense. I love the way they're going after Gaz as well, and Gaz is just giving as good as he gets. It's interesting to see. But yeah, what did everyone think of South of Midnight? I thought it was absolutely a really good showing. I'm still not totally blown away by the stop motion. I kind of wish it was more fluid. I now understand why they went with the stop motion, at least contextually and creatively. I see what they were going for, and it makes sense. But the game just looks really, really good. Brandon, Sony teases an event every month ending. Well, they just don't. Sin, that is correct. That's what I've heard too. So, Sin, what you are seeing right now is third-party studios who basically sign up for that exclusivity bag, and they're not getting their return. They're getting a large sum of money up front, but their shareholders aren't happy with the amount of sales that are being made in return with that exclusivity. But it's going to be interesting to see once, when these games go multi-plat, what the difference is going to be in sales then. Because that's what's going to dictate if these games stay multi-plat or go back to exclusivity. But right now, clearly the trend of exclusivity isn't working. I think the biggest one to showcase this was Sega with Atlas, with their Persona series, where I think it was Persona 5. Persona 5 was the first one they decided to break the chain and go global release. And I think it was in a day they sold 1 million units, which for a Persona game is really, really good, by the way. It's a very, very, very niche game, but they actually managed to almost double their sales, so that's great. But people are seeing this more and more and seeing that there is just a bigger pie out there to get your game out to, and restricting it just isn't working. Greats like Final Fantasy, there you go, ding, we've already named one, which used to sell in the tens and 15 millions, are now being, restricted down to the 2-3 millions, and it's not enough for Square Enix. And as you saw with their operating loss, they actually financially did record a loss it's only Final Fantasy 14 that's keeping really Square Enix afloat, because that is still successful. But with the, kind of mid-launch of their latest expansion, it's been received lukewarm. They've lost a few subscribers. That's good to hear, Paul. That's good to hear. Hey, why so serious? How's it going? The way I see it, folks, you can dwell on the sadness and the evils of the days. And if I did that with all the health issues that I'm going through, I probably wouldn't even be here, honestly. But you take the positives where you can and you focus on the positives. That's how you get through your day. You focus on the positives, because the positives are the building blocks to a better tomorrow. There's some philosophy, goodwill philosophy from me to you. Your days will always be shrouded in crapness. It's always going to be there. But if there's even a spark of positivity within your day, latch onto that positivity and let it shine. Let it shine through the crapness, and let it be the guiding light for you for the rest of the day. And hopefully tomorrow will bring a better day for you. But yeah, with the drop of I haven't fully seen the Indiana Jones developer direct. I'm not sure if everyone's seen it here. If everyone's seen it, then I won't check it out here. I'll check it out at my own time. I've only seen snippets of it, being really busy with work. But, Spyro the Dragon Reignited Trilogy did just, it dropped on everything. Ultimate, PC, standard, the works. It's available to everyone except Core. But we don't count Core, right? That doesn't even factor into the numbers. What's up? Yeah. But what were the metaphor sales? You know what, Diablo? You're probably right, because if you get a cat, if you don't feed them, they just tell you to piss off. Trust me, I know from experience. You work an office job. That's a good way to get. That's a good way to pass your time. I remember when I used to work in the office, I used to have 3 monitors. On 2 monitors, I had my work stuff. On the 3rd monitor, I just had a season running, whatever season it was that I was watching, just running from episode 1 to, I think by the time I finished it, it would be like episode 9. It'd be hilarious. It's going alright, Paul. I've got a blood test coming up soon. Well, I need to go get my blood test done, and then I can see where I'm at. But numbers-wise, it's looking good. It's around 7, which is pretty good. Working right now. You must be in the US. It is like 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. here. We're doing good right now. Had my old man nap. I'm good to go. But yes, Spyro's drop was... I mean, they teased it earlier in the day, and it dropping was interesting. The question is, when will other games in the ABK catalog drop? And now that Lena Khan is being drop kicked and thrown out of the building, with the FTC case pretty much almost assured to be dropped now, what does that mean going forward for Microsoft? Yeah, you see, Sanchez, I don't think PlayStation fans actually understand why we say it flopped. They don't get it. They keep comparing it to other games and other sales numbers, but they don't quite understand why people say it flopped. And it's because they continuously say that PlayStation exclusives are great. They buy their games, all this and all that, and they support their exclusives, except for Concord. Although you can totally understand why with that one. And when you've got a base of 65 million, and from what I've heard, 25% of those haven't actually... There was a video that someone showed me where 25% of those that own a PS5 haven't actually switched on their PS5 in over 2 years. That's quite striking. So, you know, when you're looking at those numbers, that's a huge number. Of course, I don't know what that number is for Xbox, but 25% is a pretty big number when you are looking at it in that regard. But anyway, getting past that point, you expect them to make sales at least above, 1.5% of their install base. And it didn't happen. And I know they're going to compare it to Dragon's Dogma, but those are third-party games, and third-party games don't always appeal to people. Like they say, people buy a PlayStation for their first-party games, and it seems they don't buy their games for first-party games, because if they did, that number should have been at least, in the 3 to 5 million. I expected 5 million, personally. I'm actually shocked that it barely broke 1.5. But King Fresh lost his bet, right? Because he said that game was going to sell 20 million. And he made a bet with some dude on X. And now he's saying you have to wait until August. He thinks that Astrobot, between now and August, is going to sell 20 million units. I don't know what he's smoking. Clearly, I'm not into that stuff. But I think he should lay off that. Because if he thinks that it's magically between now and August, 18.5 million units are going to sell... What, 18.5 million, JB? No way. But that's why people are harsher on their first parties as opposed to third party. It's because they've set this standard, and now they're kind of crying because they can't live up to the standard that they've actually set themselves. See, last year still not getting it, and that's the problem with You know, PlayStation fans. It's the standard that they set themselves. If you set yourself a standard and you want to go with that, at the end of the day, when it doesn't meet that standard, you're going to be ridiculed. I mean, shipped basically means that it was sold to retailers. That's it. Not sold to consumers, sold to retailers. So, you know, like you got Game, you got, you know, whatever stores you have in the US, like, I don't know, GameSpot, Games Radar, whatever it is. I don't know what stores there are in the US, but, you know, you got like your Walmart and stuff. When they when they get the shipment in, that counts as shipped. Whether that sells or stays in the warehouse and never gets sold at all is irrelevant. Sony just looks at the number that it ships out of its warehouse into someone else's warehouse stockroom, and it counts that as consoles shipped, which is it's a very misleading statistic. In the end, last, this is a fanboy war, not an investor war. Clearly, the investors were happy with Hellblade 2. They greenlit 2 other games. But everyone said it was a flop, right? Everyone said Hellblade 2 was a flop. Yet, the actual expectations for that game were clearly met. It made its money, and then it made it made profit. But everyone said it flopped. I'm having some Red Bull, Harris. Probably not the best thing to have at the moment, but I need a pick me up. Xbots are weirdos. Really? You mean like this? PlayStation fanboys broke into a warehouse of someone who owns a PC building company because the owner had a broken PS5 Pro? Yeah. If we're weirdos, you guys are psychos. You guys are mentally brain dead. Breaking into someone's warehouse because they had a broken PS5 Pro? And I've heard a few broken PS5 Pros, by the way. So I guess the next person's going to have someone breaking in as well. But Indiana Jones. I'm not going to show the video because a number of people have just said not to. But Indiana Jones has had a dev drop. What did people think overall? I saw snippets of it as I was skipping through. My workday has been insanely busy. But Indy looks good. A lot of people are saying that have played it. I haven't seen like the hours of footage. I'm not going to bother watching those. Just going to stick with a dev direct for myself because I've seen enough of the game to know that I'm going to enjoy it. Plus, I'm an Indiana Jones fan, so I'm going to enjoy it anyway, right? You know, if they released another Metal Gear today, I'm going to enjoy it. You know, there are certain franchises like Zone of the Enders. I'm just going to enjoy it. It's not rocket science. But, it's fun to see. Thoughts on Indiana Jones? For those that have seen it. I agree, Lost. Starfield is not a flop, even though people are saying it's a flop. It's made its money. It covered its development cost, its marketing cost, and enough to fund the next 3 DLCs. So financially, Starfield was a massive success. And with the microtransactions from the creation store that they've opened up, they're making money. They are making bank. So they're in a good place. And despite the fact that people want to, crap on Starfield, it's still the game that I keep going back to the most on Xbox. I'm just messing, DLW. I know a lot of people are coming in here waiting to clip me like Clint Eastwood. I'm giving them every opportunity. I just wish those nobles warriors would actually tag me once in a while rather than hiding behind their stables. Hey, Zrogdal, how's it going? Why so serious? They do. They use their mocap studio as well, which funds a huge part of their studio. I mean, I think they had 2 million concurrent users across all platforms in early access. That's all sales. That wasn't even Game Pass. That was all sales. 2 million concurrent across all platforms is pretty sweet. And on PC, that's the big package. On Xbox, you either bought the big package, the collector's edition like I did, and then paid for the digital version, $30 upgrade, just so you can get into the early access. I'm good, Drogdal, just trying to get through the week. Been looking forward to tonight for a bit today, just to chill out and have some fun and, chat about video games. Work is getting crazy. My 9 to 5 job has just gone from about, 10 miles an hour, and then it kicked it up into overdrive like nitrous, Fast and the Furious, into the 55th gear, because, they have infinite gears in that movie, and gone to 200 miles an hour within a second. It's crazy. I think Wukong is definitely up there. It'll be interesting to see if Wukong actually wins any game of the year. But Black Ops will definitely be up there as one of the big sellers. But even let's just look at Black Ops, right? You're seeing people saying that for PlayStation has gone up, PS4 and PS5 sales have gone up by 24% year on year, which is great. Xbox apparently fell by 11%. PC also went up year on year. But no one's looking at the number of people that actually subscribe to Game Pass to play it. No one is looking at how many of those Game Pass subscribers who paid $20 to sign in and then also went and bought uh, the Vault Edition, which is $30. Technically, that comes to $50, $20 more, and you could have bought the game anyway. But if they're then staying subscribed for another month after that, they've paid for the game. So that 11% will get covered and funded super easy based on the number of people that are on Game Pass buying microtransactions, those that bought the Vault Edition. There's so many variables now where, especially with the Xbox model, unit sales on its own just doesn't paint the full picture. But trying to explain that to Chris String is pointless. Discord? Nah. I genuinely believe that Dragon Age the Veilguard is going to win. You heard it here. Dragon Age the Veilguard is going to win for all the wrong reasons. In the US, it went up 60% year on year. Or was that globally? Globally, it went up 60% year on year anyway. Wukong was crazy. That had, that had I think 3 million concurrent. It sold 10 million in its first 2-3 days, and then within its first month sold 20 million units. But Wukong will not get Game of the Year because, you know, it doesn't have a female Monkey King. So that's out the window. They will deny Black Ops 6. I think the campaign for Black Ops 6 was insanely good. I love the way they just went just completely out of the box with that game and just went and just had fun. They threw everything at you. And I think, you know, for a change, that was a really, really nice campaign. They went in directions I did not even expect them to. That was so good. Which game is that, Inferno? Why so serious? When I move, eventually, one day, hopefully this year, probably not at this point, it's coming up to December now. But if we do move, then for Christmas, I'm going to get myself a OLED. That's going to be my Christmas present to myself. Larry? It doesn't need to be. It's still going to be up there. And it's still going to be, I reckon it will win. Like I said, for all the wrong reasons. Not for the right reasons. Diablo, for the whole year, I don't really buy myself anything. I basically just sort the kids out. And because of this impending move that we've got going on, and I've not really spent anything, bought anything. I mean, outside of the $100 I paid for the PS5 Pro, that's all I've really bought. I do want to still get those extra glasses. And that's kind of cool. Between the super chats and the donation I got yesterday on Twitch, got up to like $55. So that's all going to go towards the X-Real, so I can review those as a gaming monitor. So that's going to be kind of cool. I'm going to get like a meter up on screen for the next stream, so it can be tracked on how far we've got. So hopefully that can be done as well. But yeah. Diablo? No, unfortunately not. But yeah, I'm really excited for where the two are actually going. Last, it was said to be anti woke. It was said to be sexist, and it was said that not offering the option to have a female playable character or a trans character or a non-binary character to play as was basically them being anti-woke. Even though the game is all about the Monkey King. Hey, what up, Tony? I know, man, I know. That's what I keep hearing. I think, look, I really enjoyed Stellar Blade. Like, really, really enjoyed Stellar Blade. Space Marine is a game I'm going to buy this month, so I'm going to be able to check that one out personally myself because I haven't had the chance to pick it up yet. I've got Silent Hill 2, which I want to play through. Tomorrow over at Twitch, I'm going to be checking out the new update to Final Fantasy 14 for those that are interested. But maybe on the weekend, I will start my Silent Hill 2 playthrough. I've got that on PC, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed Stellar Blade. I'm a huge fan of Nier Automata, and it reminded me a lot of Nier Automata. And from the combat to the music to the landscape, to me, it just hit all the right spots. And it's a shame that it, you know, won't get a single award, even if it has the perfect, ass cheeks. It's still not going to get an award. And I think that's wrong. But that is the world we live in. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It doesn't matter if it's great. If it goes against the status quo, it doesn't get nominated. Just look at Hogwarts Legacy. Are you telling me Hogwarts Legacy didn't deserve at least one award, one nomination? It didn't get nominated for anything. Anything. You're telling me that Hogwarts Legacy didn't deserve... I mean, forget about winning the award. I'm talking about just getting nominated. But that tells you everything you need to know, right? Black Myth isn't broken. Black Myth is just running on Unreal Engine 5, and Unreal Engine 5 is a mess right now. Oh, God, serious? Why would you go there? Why? Why? Why would you go there? What you need to do now is just go into that corner and just think long and hard about what you just said. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown was awesome. It was an amazing game, but it won't win. J-Cola, that is my thoughts as well. Wait. What is Tony doing? What is Tony? I don't even see Tony. Why don't I see Tony? I haven't. I haven't blocked him. I don't block people. But I don't see him at all, unless he's blocked me. No, I don't see a single message from Tony. Nope. Paul, who? So is it called? Hey, Paris, how's it going, my dude? You think Metaphor is going to win? What's up, Dayreezy? Inferno, is it the 19th or the 20th? I thought it was the 20th. I think that's going to be a really, really big event. Is it the 19th or the 20th? That is going to be huge. Metaphor will win Game of the Year. I still need to play Metaphor. There's just too many games for me to play at the moment. I mean, believe it or not, I'm playing Life is Strange at the moment and really enjoying it. I even went back to a game called Brothers, A Tale of Two. That's really cool as well, even though the controls are probably some of the weirdest I've used in such a long time. It's so weird. I've never experienced something like that where you have to use both characters with either analog stick. It's just what? Which demo? Why so serious? We're jumping from topic to topic now. I've actually bought Metaphor. I bought it. I pre-ordered it. It's Play Anywhere on Xbox, and like I said, any game that's Play Anywhere, like Death Stranding, is going to get, I'm gonna buy it. A Tale of Two Brothers, right? And I'm really enjoying it at the moment. Bullets. Did I roll creds on Stellar Blade? Not yet. I'm at the end of the game. I have a habit of jumping between games. So why so serious? I actually bought Metaphor anyway. So it's just sitting there. Same as Visions of Mana. It's just sitting there waiting for me. I have a habit of just buying the games and then just think. But if the game is Play Anywhere, it's a no-brainer for me. I pick it up on Xbox. Because then I can play it between Xbox and my PC Game Pass. I know some people are completely against it, but for me, especially within my household, Play Anywhere is like the best thing to happen in gaming. Hey, G-Mania. Thank you for that $2 playing RoboCop on Xbox. Surprised how good it is. That actually is one of the games that supports FSR as well, right? Let me put my bot on. I forgot to put that on. That should fix it. Good. Do 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 do. But yeah, that's one of the ones that actually supports FSR to push it above. Yeah, it's a shame Spyro doesn't have it, but that's why it's on Game. It's on Game Pass. I do need to play RoboCop, dude. Like I said, there's too many games. There's just too many games, and every game being like 100 hours long is really just tiring. Honestly, there's just too much being at that level. There's only so many hours per day I can think. I've got a month of off in December, so I'm gonna game really hard in December. So I'm probably gonna get some time played there. But yeah, I mean, for what RoboCop was, it's good. Zrogdal, it's really good. You should check it out. Honestly, it's an RPG, Mac. I would give it maybe 2-3 hours. If it still doesn't appeal to you after that, then it's not going to appeal. But I'd give it a little more than that. Being RPGs, sometimes they start slow. You don't get into it immediately, but as it goes on, it grows on you. At least to me, that's how I play RPGs. But I know time is finite, so if it doesn't instantly appeal, off it goes for some people. But yeah, Death Stranding appearing on Xbox. It's quite interesting because wasn't this just recently sold as an IP to Sony? I mean, to Kojima? PS5 blows, there's only so many games I can buy. I'll wait for the next. I mean, I don't really care for the sale. I'll just wait until I'm ready to play it before I can buy it. Before I buy it. I didn't actually, Clarke. I didn't even realize it came out. But I think Death Stranding is a big move in the right direction. No, I get that, Paul, but when did he buy it? When was the deal confirmed? Because if the deal was confirmed 2 weeks ago, that means between them, being a Sony IP, this game was in production on Xbox everywhere, right? Under Sony's umbrella, regardless of whether the deal was going to go through or not, because that deal could fall through. And then that whole funding would have been left on Sony. Why would they release it on the PS5 Pro release date? To steal the thunder off the PS5 Pro. This game being released on Xbox, optics wise, on that day is huge. Now, Sony fans are going to argue it had nothing to do with Sony, but it was in development under Sony's umbrella. their own IP was in development under their own umbrella. And they're going to talk about MLB as well and say, well, they were forced to put MLB onto other platforms. I mean, they could have just given up the development rights to the game and had the game released multi-platform by someone else making it, right? But they instinctively made that decision themselves to retain the IP and release it on other platforms. Now, the interesting one is going to be Marathon. Will Marathon remain multi-platform? Will that release on Xbox? Considering Sony has all but swallowed Bungie, will that remain multi-platform? Do I think Stellar Blade is coming to Xbox? Maybe in a year's time. It needs to come to PC first. It'll go to PC, and then 6 months or so later, potentially to other platforms. Sony doesn't own the IP, doesn't own the studio. They've just got a third-party contract with Shift Up, and whatever that contract is, we don't really know. But once it goes to PC, then it will go to Xbox. That's my belief anyway. Can you imagine the mods on that game once it goes to PC? But Sony has undercut the Series X, right? I saw Xbox dropped their console price of the disc version to $400. Sony, I think, dropped their PS5 to $375 or $367 or something like that, $365. So they undercut Microsoft. That's interesting. I mean, no one cares about Marathon right now except for Bungie and Sony. Taigeta, it was, but it wasn't on Xbox. So now, see, now that it's on Xbox, Xbox gamers get to play it. Of course, this game was, tailor-made specifically for the PS5 hardware. And I think it was Digital Foundry. They did like a one-to-one comparison of the game, showing it. And obviously the PS5 version, being what it was tailored for, runs maybe about 2 or 3% better overall. But that's to be expected. I don't see that as a problem. Unless you're on PC, then it just runs miles. If you're running it on your PC, then it just runs the best on PC. Yeah, but it's still tailor-made on the PlayStation hardware. Sorry, I might have said PS5, but you get what I mean. It was tailor-made for the PlayStation hardware, which is not running on DirectX. It's not running on, any kind of x64 architecture. PlayStation runs more on kind of like a Linux base, which is completely different to that of DirectX architecture. Big age. And it still looks so good, right, Lost? Awesome stuff, Paul. I'm just going by Cepho what Digital Foundry was showing. I mean, I bought it for $17. It's Play Anywhere. Although now I own like, well, 4 copies of this. I think I own this game now on every platform. And I still haven't had the chance to play it. Yeah, I think Silent Hill's like a 1-year exclusivity, or is it 6 months? I'm not sure. Hopefully by then, Unreal Engine 5 will have matured enough on the next-gen consoles. Microsoft is also, going down the route of... It's really weird because the Series X has, minimal machine learning capabilities, but they're still going to leverage some form of AI performance improvement, image improvement. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm really intrigued as to how Xbox is going to pull that off. But apparently it is within the current research. So interesting times. Two weeks ago, so this was being ported under the umbrella of Sony. If Sony really wanted to, they could have told Kojima, you can't start work on an Xbox version until you buy it. And they didn't do that. But they could have done that. I did, JB, or at least some of them. I know that it now supports 3.1.2. There's some other little bits and bobs it's adding, and in terms of the AI stuff, it's still a little bits away, but they're trying to reverse engineer the AI into it, which is weird, but we'll see how that works out once it gets released. Yeah, me too, Byron. When it got shadow dropped, $17. I just pulled the trigger. It's Play Anywhere, so it gives me the opportunity just to play it wherever I want. I just need to get myself an Asus ROG Ally X, because I keep going to buy one, or at least get one on finance. And every time I do, I kind of just stop just before pulling the trigger because I want to know what Xbox is doing with their handheld, what it's going to do, what it's going to be designed to do. I just hope they announce something at the Video Game Awards, which I will be streaming, by the way. But I hope they actually show something and reveal it and show what it's capable of and a release date. I mean, I like my Steam Deck, but I can't use Game Pass on there, so that's a deal breaker for me. Do you think Sony will sell Ninja Theory back to Heavenly... Do you think Sony will sell... I mean, it's a possibility. They're not doing anything with the IP, so there's no reason why they wouldn't sell it. And considering Sony at the moment is selling IPs like crazy because they need money, we already know Hiroki Totoki isn't happy with the finances, even with the recent quarterly update. He's still not happy, and they're still talking about restructuring the organization in terms of releases and whatnot. Hasn't really set out a clear cadence on first-party releases. All we know next year is that Ghost of Yotei, and there's one more, I can't remember the name, is going to come out next year, but none of the big hitters like God of War or Uncharted, Last of Us are going to be there next year. No Ratchet and Clank. Spider-Man wasn't announced either. So, I mean, Spider-Man didn't even break even from what I understand for Sony. So, that's a massive yikes. That's probably why, I mean, you're seeing games like Blade that are probably going to go multiplayer. That Marvel contract is nasty. I heard the last batch of reviews I saw, head-to-heads and stuff with the Legion Go, the drivers weren't up to it. I mean, it was a driver issue, albeit, but they were having problems with the driver issues. Plus, there's more RAM on the X. Wolverine, Venom? What about it? Oh, is it Wolverine? Venom, I think, has been cancelled. Yeah, it's Wolverine. I think select games will go, Paul. I don't think everything will go, but I do think select games they're gonna start slowly, but you know, cautiously, because they know how crazy some people are, especially uh, some of the more fanatical fanboys. It's a it's a thing. I mean, you already saw how one of them, just because Spider-Man 2 went to PC, a 50-year-old dude just lost his rag completely and went on a complete meltdown, copyright striking everyone's channel. It's it's pretty sad that people are doing that, but it is what it is. I don't have that tweet, but if Sony wants to make money, putting the first and the second, putting the first game in Miles Morales actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he lost it. He went. He just lost it, man. I don't get it at all. He lost it on, you know, on unfathomable levels. He got banned and came back. But with Spider-Man 2 under the Marvel contract, right? They needed to sell 7.2 million digital games in order to break even. But the contract that they had, if they sold physical copies, which is what PlayStation fans always say they buy, they don't buy digital. Digital is like kryptonite to them. Sony actually lost out, and they got hurt by that quite badly. I mean, even the worst ones were the bundled consoles with the game, right? And if any Spider-Man copy of the game that was bundled with the PS5 at the time, Spider-Man 2, Marvel took 50% of the game price, leaving 50% to Sony. But Sony wouldn't take 50% either, because the retailer would take a cut from that as well. So in this regard, in actual fact, selling the physical copy of Spider-Man 2 really, really hurt Sony, and was the reason you're not getting any of the DLC. I think they needed to sell like 13 and a half million copies on average And they only sold 11 million. Well, I say only. 11 million is still a staggering amount to sell. But that just shows you how bad that Marvel contract was. That they needed to sell around 13 million, 13.5 million to break even. When you average physical, bundled, and digital sales. It's crazy how bad that contract is. And that's why, in my opinion, the DLCs got cancelled, because they just didn't make their money. And now it's being pushed over to PC. They fast-tracked that because they need to make the money. You can clearly see that Spider-Man 2 for PC was fast-tracked and prioritized. Why would they prioritize the PC version instead of the DLC? All of that comes into it, Diablo. All of it. But under digital, there is no manufacturing, there is no shipping, and there is no marketing. It's just digital. Sony takes 100% of the revenue. If it sells for $70, they take $70 clean. Hey, Steve. How's your zombies going? Nah, I had nothing to do with that last. If that was the case, it would have been released within 3 months. I can't do that, man. If I shave my beard off, I can't stream. Or you just won't see me on picture. You're just going to see something else in the background. If I shave, I'll be forced to buy a VTuber or something. Or a PNG tuber. There's no way I can fully shave and then be seen in public. What do you think of this? But yeah, I think Death Stranding overall is a big move in the right direction. I think Sony is shedding their IPs, and they're now starting to see the power of multiplayer gaming. And in my opinion, more will follow. More will follow. Exclusives, third-party exclusives, I think are going to be really diminished. Like you're going to need to offer a really good pay incentive in order to get that exclusivity deal. More publishers are just saying no now because they believe they can get more money by going multi-plat. Become a VTuber, can't go. Okay, lots of donos. Right. Well, Paul, at least in your case, that makes sense. 101, Steve. Not bad at all. You are not on time, Steve, and you moan at me. I don't know. I saw this and I was like, this can't be real. This can't be real. I do not appreciate my patience being tested. What? Like, no way. I don't know. I thought that was just funny. I thought that was funny. But yeah, overall, it's been quite interesting to say the least. So for those of you that did buy Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, apparently it's finally fixed. They even removed the original studio that was in charge of making these ports. Rockstar did a massive overhaul to the 3 games. So if you actually bought the trilogy, apparently now it's worth it because it's now fixed. I don't see Gears or Halo going. I think that I'm starting to think that Starfield won't go either. I'm still being told Forza is one of the ones on the cards, but I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't go over. The staples that made Xbox should stay. Yeah, apparently it's fixed now, JB. Would I ever start eating humans? No. Why would I eat humans? Shinzo. Well, Paul, you've come out from living in hospital to becoming a UPS driver or a FedEx driver. Whatever you want to know. Now you can FedEx all your stuff all the way. Who the hell is this guy with 200 subs? No, I don't know. I've never been into the GTAs. I mean, my brother lived in the GTA games. My favorite GTA was GTA 1 and 2. You know, the top-down view on the original PlayStation, running, you know, almost like Micro Machines. Good Micro Machine racing games were so good back in the day. Showing my age. But every time I jump onto GTA, I end up just running people over and not playing the game. You're just hungry. So, Steve, what you're saying is they were like the Street Fighter movie. It was so bad, it was good. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to probably check out GTA 6, but I'm not as excited as all of you are for GTA 6. I know the significance and the importance of GTA 6, especially on like a marketing and platform centric and performance centric. I mean, I know how big the game is, but I've just never really had that attachment to GTA. Yeah, Paul, I like GTA London was so cool. I'm taking vacation time for GTA 6. If it's an always online game, expect not to play for like a week as the servers burn. I wonder if they're gonna make GTA's single player always online. I think they will. I think they're going to make it always online. Yes, you are, Steve. Yes, you are. I mean, in all honesty, they're going to want to control the online portion and the offline portion, and I reckon if they're smart, they're going to try and meld the offline and the online together to try and get more people into the online universe. With that being said, if that's what they're going to try and do, being always online makes sense. Especially if they want you to be able to take some of the cool stuff that you earn in single player into the multiplayer. A friend of mine, I mean, I think the last time I played GTA online was maybe about 7, 8 years ago. Or was it 5 years ago? Something like that. A friend of mine wanted me to jump on the game with him. And we went on. And the first thing he did was he went and bought a tank with real money. Just so he can go around and blast everyone. I was like, how much did that tank cost you? And it was like, oh, about $70. And I'm like, what? People be crazy. 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 $70. $70. $70. All right, folks. All right. We've spoken about South of Midnight, which I think looks absolutely amazing. Might do a video going over my overall thoughts on the game. I still need to check out the Indiana Jones deep dive in full. I've only seen snippets, but I've seen enough to, know that I'm going to enjoy it. We've gone over the bits of news, but I need to ask you all a question. It's an important question. And this is regarding limited edition consoles. Not special edition or anything like that. I'm talking highly limited, where there is maybe 50,000 available. I'm going to put a question up. And I want as many of you to answer this as possible. Because this is going somewhere. There we go. I mean, honestly, Steve, I think it makes perfect sense with the way UE5 is actually running. I just don't think UE5 is ready for where we are right now. I don't think it is. Not in the current gen. Are limited editions more expensive than standard editions? Whatever the number is, Steve, I'm just saying limited editions in general. Are they more expensive? That's my question. It's not a difficult one. There is no tricks to this question. There is no, you know, oh, I'm gonna get you. There's none of that. This isn't a trick question. This is a genuine question. I'm expecting the results to be 100% yes. Even though I'm genuinely surprised that someone said no. That they don't believe a limited edition console shouldn't be more expensive than the standard edition. But I think the overwhelming majority is saying yes, it should be. John, I get that. I totally get that. JB, it was more expensive. I think it was like 200 more expensive. Is it? Are limited edition consoles, or generally anything that's limited edition, more expensive than standard editions? I think that's a pretty straightforward question. Derek. So basically, what we can. Oh no, there's someone else that said no. This is getting out of hand, guys. This is not how it works. If it's limited edition, it costs more. I mean, there's a reason why the Spider-Man limited edition PS5 base was $600 compared to the $400 of the PS5 standard edition. Come on, let's not do this. But I think everyone can generally agree that limited edition is more expensive. It's in the name, right? As EA would like to say it. Hey, look, there's the Ponybot Arthur. He's finally arrived. Okay, we can end that poll. 99%. All right. So there's a reason why I'm actually going with this, right? Because ponies have been losing their mind as of yesterday. I did say I was going somewhere with this. So Steam decided to release their limited edition OLED white edition of the console, which is about $100 more expensive than the standard edition, which is $579. And this is their response. They are now all trying to gauge in on this, and they're all trying to crap on an OLED Steam Deck. That there has to be some. I mean, as I said here, when did brain damage hit PS fans? Genuine question. You guys are so hurt by your purchase, it's insane. This is getting close to mental illness at this point. It's like, why are you comparing anything that's limited edition to a standard edition? Hey, look, Steve, we don't go there. We don't talk about that stuff. I thought we already agreed with this. I mean, it gets better, right? It's gonna get better. It's going to get better. Let me, So you've got James here, already making an idiot of himself. Then, of course, Xvolt decided that he wanted to get in on the fun. Where is the disk drive on a Steam Deck? Hey, Ventura. Where is the disk drive on a Steam Deck? I don't know how to respond to Koala Man. Or should I call him Elevator Guy? Because that's what he blocked me for. The guy admitted to working in an elevator with a table and a plant in the bottom right-hand corner. And because I said that he worked... He's the one that admitted to it, right? He's the one that described his workplace, where he worked. And was expecting me to guess. And because I guessed correctly, he blocked me. But thanks to Elon, we can see their stupidity now. But, really? This is the mental gymnastics that's now coming out of Camp PlayStation. I don't know, folks. I'm going to get to the PS5 Pro in a bit, because I've been playing around with it for a little bit, and some of the results are surprising, but I'll get to it. I mean, I think it was day 2, right? I think it was day 2. Let me see if I can find it. Where did I see it? Here we go. I mean, the PS5 Pro is out, and they're all congregating within the stables talking about Game Pass. Like, you've just got shiny new tech, and instead of you going and playing that shiny new tech, which is what any normal person would do when they get a new toy, a new gadget, a new, shiny, as I like to call it. No, these guys decided that they're going to jump into the stables and talk about Game Pass. Like, come on. It's like, that couldn't be me, man. That could not be me. And I get it, right? I get it. Some of them now are like super like into it, and they're showcasing, they're showing off playing old games, because apparently that's the cool thing to do now, to go and say, oh, look, this game that was released 6 years ago is running super smooth now, and I mean, It's like this can't be real. I mean, you got Goldilocks over here, Dying Light previously 30 or 60 FPS on PS5, now 120, and obviously Kids Move is saying as of update 1.05, it's already 120 FPS on Xbox Series X anyway. But it doesn't really stop there. It doesn't. It doesn't at all because you got Jay Barry here doing the same thing. Who is this for? I can build a 649 PC for that price. It doesn't even come with a disk drive. I think the dude doesn't realize that PCs don't have disk drives anymore. It's a myth. It's a thing of the past. They don't exist. Well, I guess they do exist in thing, but does it come with a stand? Like these guys. These guys are fucking special. These guys are special. Look, I don't get it, right? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. So you've got Jay over here, talking about who's this for. It's a limited edition console, by the way, so it's more expensive. You've got Uni, who decided that he's gonna become the next Peter Ovo. No one really wants to be the next Peter Ovo or Warhammer Dave, but Uni has taken it upon himself to be the next Peter Ovo / Warhammer Dave. And you've got J-Dub, obviously. He's going to jump into anything and not play video games and talk about Game Pass because it's not like PlayStation Plus is the same thing. These people are also playing games on PS Plus, PlayStation Extras, and Premium. But, that mental gymnastics is a weird one. You got Koala Man over here, who's it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's really weird, Chris, because not all games are better. Some actually run worse, which theoretically doesn't make sense because it's the same CPU and essentially you've just got a higher GPU. So in theory, it should be performing better in every aspect. But we've seen side-by-side comparisons where some games are actually performing worse. And in my opinion, that is because of the pisser. It's still... Pisser is kicking in and doing things that it shouldn't do. Which is clearly why it's out now and not with the PS6. Because right now, anyone that's bought a PS5 Pro is a guinea pig. You're the test bed to teach pisser right from wrong. And it will learn. That's the whole purpose of the machine learning, right? I mean, basically any game that was CPU bottlenecking, some games will brute force. The extra 10% that you get now that the PS5 won't overheat is going to help. But there are some that will just suffer. But my point is that this sort of reaction to a limited edition Steam Deck is weird. It's not normal. This isn't normal behavior. If anyone is saying that this is normal behavior, I don't get it. I don't know, Phantom Archer. This is not normal behavior to me. I don't know. Is there any PlayStation fans in here that can honestly tell me that this is normal behavior? If there is any PlayStation fans in here, please chime in. Is this normal behavior? Because if the tables were reversed and this was an Xbox thing, I would be saying exactly the same thing about anyone that's an Xbox fan saying the same thing. This isn't normal. Anyone that knows me knows me. I'm pretty blunt with my opinions. Tarnished. Oh. But yeah, this one killed me. This one really good. This one was hilarious. This was a day after, right? This was like a day or so after. And instead of playing with their shiny new toy, which I expected everyone to do that bought a PlayStation 5 Pro, they were out here in their stables talking about Game Pass. Like, I don't even understand why they even care about Game Pass. You are not senile, my dude. You are not senile. You haven't seen any Xbox spaces? That's because Tim's over there making them on PlayStation, probably. Let's look at it this way. This is my personal opinion on this question. Will Xbox Game Pass fail? I don't believe Microsoft will let it fail. Unless it becomes too much of a money sink to the point where it's actually losing like 4 or 5 billion a year. I don't think Microsoft will let this fail because they want the idea of Game Pass to work. And I mean, it's working anyway, but they want it to be mainstream. They want to reach as many households as possible. They want Microsoft in as many homes as possible. And through cloud gaming, they are going to get that. And as of November the 1st, you can now buy your games off Android and play them straight off immediately on your mobile phone. You know, their plans moving forward are moving quite rapidly. So it won't fail. Satya won't let Game Pass fail. It's got way more than 35 JB. 35 anyway doesn't even include core subscriptions. Hey, Happy Cloud Gamer, how's it going? So, I mean, it's already profitable anyway, but like I said, man, this level of, I mean, this is just wow. This is just, I'm impressed, man. I am impressed. I am genuinely impressed that they will go to these lengths to try and prove a point that's not a point. It's like I don't even get it anymore. I mean, look, I just went on my timeline, and like clockwork, I didn't even search for this. E4 Extreme already. Funnily enough, hardly any chatter about a limited edition console. I swear. I mean, they deliberately just come out of the woodworks to make themselves look stupid. Paul, we need to see numbers. I mean, ultimately, when it boils down to it, it's as a gamer, it's nice to see, the company doing well, because if the platform is doing well, then you get more games. I mean, as far as gamers should be concerned, that's as far as the extent should go. No one should be really looking, into it like a nib chat GBT writing a 45-page essay on facts and figures, equations, and multiplications. Looking at it from a snapshot, it's doing well. I'm happy because that means more games are coming my way. Really, as a consumer and as a gamer, that's all you should be happy with. The rest of the stuff is down to the corporations and the shareholders and the board to work out whether it's can continue or not. But this is special. I guess he missed the limited edition. John Gray, it's good that you mentioned GeForce Now, because for those of you that don't know, as of next year, January, it's going to be metered at 100 hours a month. But if you sign up to it between now and the end of December, you get unmetered access for the whole of 25. And then in 26 January, it becomes metered for you. My assumption is that during that year, there's going to be enough blowback and enough people jumping off the service to actually make them reconsider that. But if you are interested in GeForce Now, picking it up between now and December the 31st is your best bet to pick it up. Edward, I still think the PS5 Pro is overpriced, having got one myself. I think it should have been at $699. I think it should have been with the disk drive. At $599, it should have been without the disk drive. Oh, no, Derek, that's different. That's a PlayStation console. It doesn't matter if it's limited edition. They'll pay $5,000 if it needs to. That's okay. But yeah, they're weird. Not at all, Stephen. Not at all. I mean, before I moved to this property, I use GeForce Now as my regular gaming for PC. It had, it gave me a 4080 spec machine, which meant, especially when I'm streaming, like I think I streamed the whole of Alan Wake 2 through GeForce Now. And no one really noticed me streaming it at all. I didn't disclose it until the end of each stream, and people were surprised. Streaming has come a long way. But it's definitely not just for Xbox fans. There are people out there who play it on their TVs and stuff like that. It just gives you access to more stuff without having to buy a rig. And if you get the premium tier, you get a really powerful rig under you for such a cheap price. I never tried Forspoken, actually. Well, I mean, there is one thing the PS5 Pro did really well, right? And I think I think both camps can agree on this. There is one aspect that the PS5 Pro did phenomenal in. And you know what? It did a great, it did this valiantly and it did this like a champ. And I'm really happy that it did. It sold so poorly that the scalpers have now been forced to reduce their price of the PS5 Pro to less than retail on eBay. Scalpers are trying to sell it at $660 on eBay right now, or best offer. It sold so badly, it's in stock everywhere. Scalpers misjudged this one entirely, and that is the best thing that's come out of the PS5 Pro. Absolutely the best thing. Exactly, Rum Punch Man. I think this is something that we can all agree on. Scalpers taking a massive hit is a thing. Even though, in all fairness, I was one of the scalpers, but I got lucky thanks to a friend for my early birthday present. So I kind of evaded that whole egg on my face thing. So I get excluded from me laughing at scalpers, even though I tried to scalp. My whole intention was to sell the PS5 Pro. I mean, even when you look at this, right? Where is it? Apparently, right? 30 FPS is now the next. According to PlayStation fans, like Yimnis, 30 FPS is now cool. So, do you remember all that time when they were laughing at Xbox players for playing Hellblade 2, which looks phenomenally good, by the way. Best looking game even right now. At 30 FPS on the Series X. But now they are perfectly fine playing 30 FPS Alan Wake 2 because it has ray tracing. The standards have immediately dropped and the goalposts have moved. 30 FPS is now in. Hey, Rabbi, how's it going? Now, Hellblade 2 looks absolutely incredible, and if it doesn't win any awards, I'm going to be surprised. Whether it wins Game of the Year, I don't think it will. I think it'll miss that, but I think it should absolutely win Best Graphical and Best Audio. The audio in that game is phenomenal. Graphically, it just blows everything away. Rabbi, I'm doing well, thanks. I think the scalpers are so to recoup the sales numbers. There's two ways of looking at that. It's not the all digital either. It's the physical. It does have a disk drive that goes with it, the guy. But that extra terabyte is still like $150 $30. So if you're paying $450 for the console, the extra terabyte memory cards right now is on sale, and it's £130. So that goes from $450 to $580. So you're essentially paying £20 extra for the design. It's not really a scam. You're just paying for the drive to be placed internally rather than a memory card on the outside. I still think, though, that the memory cards are a scam, because they should not be priced that way. There's no one here is going to convince me that the memory cards for the Xbox console are a good thing and that they are priced adequately. They are bullcrap. I'm good, Rabbi. I am good. I don't know, Byron. Are releasing... Is that AR glasses? Steve, are you drunk? I think you need to rewrite that sentence. But the general consensus has always been, if it's not 60 FPS, it sucks. And that's been the messaging coming from PlayStation fans for a long time. But now they are happy with 30 FPS. They are happy. They are happy. It's weird how times change, right? It's weird how times change. But hey, 30 FPS is the new 60. Let's go with that. I haven't found much info on it, Rebby. It's very, very small little tidbits of info. There's not much going around at the moment. I read the stuff from Jez Corden. There's maybe enough for like a 2-minute segment, so I'm going to tie it into a video when I've got a chance, when I'm just doing a multi-round video. Genshin Impact is going to be I'm hoping it's going to be successful on Xbox. That is massive and could kickstart other games like Zenithzone Zero, Honkai Star Rail. There's a bunch of others that are now on the verge of coming out. NTE is getting their open beta. Was it Arknights Enfield is also not too far off. You've got the other game, I can't remember the full name because it's a weird one, but it's kind of like a Pokemon style game. That's coming as well, and that looks really cool. What video, Rebby? Yeah, I expect that, Steven. I remember my first 3D TV, got my glasses and everything, and then nothing used it. I was so sad. It doesn't, Ghosty. And anyway, Ghosty, I'd love to see them try and sue someone the size of MiHoYo. Send me the video on Twitter, Rabbi, and I'll have a look at it when I get a chance. But apparently, this developer over here, whatever the developer actually is, apparently it's in here. Let's see, is it here? Does it say who this? So PS5 Pro's PSSR is on par with Nvidia's DLSS and Intel XCSS. Wait, when did XCSS become on par with DLSS? Take it easy, Paul. Have a good night. Wishing you all the best. And I will see you in my next stream. Hopefully you'll enjoy my next video. My understanding of written English is bad, or you're just drunk and can't write English. There is... Yep, I'll have a look at it after the stream or tomorrow sometime. Fantasy Star Universe was cool. I like that. But apparently, PS5's Pro Gargo Hovarth, a graphics programmer at Gaijin, believes that PSR is not only on par with DLSS XCS, but also better than FSR in some respects. Like, FSR is probably the worst because it's software based, whereas these are hardware based, so it's obviously going to be better. And the fact that they're saying in some respects means that this graphics programmer has no clue what he's even talking about. Like, literally no clue. Of course DLSS is way ahead of the game. It's like they're listening to something coming out of a crazed, deranged developer. That's stupid. It's weird, man. It is weird. I mean, come on. People can't be this delusional. Can they? Can they, chat? Can they be this delusional? I mean, they're really going after Gaz, aren't they? I know, Steve. That's the point. But the dude's statement says, but also better than FSR in some respects. Some. I mean, that instantly makes this whole dude's comments completely irrational anyway. Straight off the bat. I mean, Steve, they were falling behind. What did you think? But I think they are so... Have you seen how upset they've been with Gaz? So Gaz has a 2070 graphics card, right? And he's clearly said multiple times that he's waiting for the 5090 to release so he can buy it to upgrade his PC. I mean, there's no point in buying a 4090 now with the 5090 round the corner. It makes sense. So he's not upgrading. He's waiting for the 5090 like many people, to upgrade. And that will last them a good while, 2-3 years, maybe more, before the next generation one comes out. And of course, D over here. So what you're saying is your 2070 can't. He's comparing a graphics card that was released in 2018. 2018 is when the 2070 came out. And he is trying to take a win from a graphics card released in 2018 as opposed to what is out now in 2024. Come on. You can't be this stupid. The 4090 will not be getting any discount because they've gone end of service. So they're not manufacturing them anymore. And because of that, they've actually gone up in price by 25 to 50%. The moment they announced end of service of the 4090, the prices shot up instantly. They were around 1400. Now they're close to 2000. Yo, guys, do you think my NES is as powerful as the PS5 Pro? Asking for a friend. The new one, I think, is going to be around 1500. But but realistically, do you need a 5090? 5090 is designed for, actual graphical editing. We're talking Blender and shit like that. The gaming card is the 5080. That's the one designed for gamers. 5090 just takes it to another level because it has more VRAM, so it can store more shit when you're doing your stuff with AutoCAD and Blender and everything else. So I know it's really good for gaming, but that's not its primary purpose. And that's why it's more expensive. It's more of an industrial card, more of a Titan spec card. The 4080 and the 5080 are the ones that are designed more for gaming. I think it'll be less than that. But it depends how much stock they have, right? If they have like 30 units and they have the crappy launch that they had with the 4090, then it's going to shoot up in price. But if they have the standard, if they have enough supply that, overshadows demand, then it'll be cheaper. Hey, Chille, how was your trip in London? Hey, you better send me those pictures of those frames, Steve. If I don't see anything above 60, then I'm going to be well disappointed with you. Just saying. I'm going to be deadly disappointed if you don't hit more than 60 FPS. But seriously though, chat, seriously. Would you ever compare a graphics card released in 2018 to something that's released brand new in 2024? Would you ever do that? How many of you here would actually do that? Steve, don't forget when the 4090 launched, it was during the whole crypto phase, crypto mining. That's kind of really gone away. Those farms aren't as prevalent anymore. So the demand for the 4090 was insane. Demand for any graphics card was insane. David. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Right? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. About 6,000 FPS. Don't burn your graphics card out, dude. Don't do it. Don't burn it out. You don't want to burn it out. Ah, Rabbi, it's the Colt Eastwood video. I see. What did I do? No, I lost my slide. Alright, I think we've come to the portion of the video where I can now talk about the PS5 Pro and my experience. Now that we've, you know, mocked with some of the fanboys, because this shit is hilarious. That shit's hilarious. So I've spent some time playing around with the PS5 Pro, as some of you may have seen my tweet, because why not? So I've tested Until Dawn. You know, that game ran pretty badly on the PS5 base. I think it was like 35, 40 frames per second most of the time. It never hit above that. It never hit true 60. I tested Horizon Zero Dawn remake, remastered, whatever it's called. You know, the new one that just came out. I tested Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I tested God of War. I tested Stellar Blade. And I think there was one more I tested. I went to test Monster Hunter, but the beta was gone. So that's a bit unfortunate. So my overall verdict is that if you don't have a VRR enabled TV, the PS5 Pro is a waste of money. The benefits you're going to get are very minimal. You need a VRR enabled TV in order to see real benefits from the PS5 Pro. Stellar Blade looked really good, but it wasn't hitting 60. At least on my... I don't have a VRR enabled display. And if you look at what Sony posted here anyway, it doesn't hit 60 anyway, right? Oh, not Sony, Stellar Blade. You get it at 50 FPS. And you can see the... You know, you can see it's not smooth to hit. Oh, I tested Final Fantasy 16 as well. And you can see, it never hits 60 FPS, even in areas where there's not much happening. And to me, that's a deal breaker, right? Ratchet and Clank, if you enable the balanced mode, which is the PS5 Pro features, it runs about 50 frames per second, and then in busy areas will drop down to 30. And at sometimes it was dropping below 30, which isn't good. But if you run it in fidelity without the ray tracing, it's running super smooth at 60 FPS. And if you run it in performance, it's running at 60 FPS. So if you have a VRR enabled TV, you will see benefits which are positive. But if you don't have it, then there's very little reason for you to upgrade, because the benefits are going to be minor. Final Fantasy 16 that I tested, performance mode ran silky smooth at 60 FPS out in the wilds and in dungeons, which was really nice to see because that was being brute forced. Fidelity mode was not hitting 60 FPS. It was somewhere between, I think, what looked like 40-45 frames. It was aiming for 45, so you can use VRR to, upscale it. Which is why I'm saying you kind of really want a VRR enabled display in order to benefit from it. Because what it looks like the PS5 Pro is doing in general is, for the higher tier graphics, it's trying to hit that 45 FPS so VRR can kick in. It's the same thing with God of War. In performance mode, it runs silky smooth. Fidelity mode, it does not. And in the balanced, mode that is the Pro mode, it does not. It doesn't hit 60. But it does hit, in my opinion, from just eyeballing, above 45, which then would enable VRR. So if you have a VRR enabled display, you'll be getting those frame generation, fake frames to push it above. It's not actually doing the higher frames. You all know how frame generation works, right? So I don't need to explain that. But yeah, so there were some games like Stellar Blade that actually did show really nice graphical performance, and Ratchet and Clank, for example, running on even on performance, it just looked nicer than the PS5 Pro performance. Is it worth the $700? No. Like I said, $600 should have been what it was priced at, which would have been $150 above the base PS5, and I think that actually makes sense. But pushing it to $700 or $800 if you're going to buy a drive, they're asking too much for the gain that you're getting. It's too early. Now, what I will add is that most of these games are post-release patches. You're not seeing anything that's been natively, inherently built. And until we get to see stuff like that, we're not really going to see the potential of whether the PS5 Pro is worth its real salt or not. At the end of the day, games like Wolverine and Ghost of Yotei will probably demonstrate it best, but I still suspect that they are going to need a VRR display in order to give you the best possible performance. If you don't have it, you're going to find that the balanced mode won't hit 60. And for me, obviously that's a deal breaker because I want to play 60. And so what I'm finding now is I'm not in the games that I'm testing, I'm not using the PS5 Pro enabled modes because my TV is a 60 Hz TV. I'm still now using the performance or the fidelity, where fidelity can hit 60. And maybe that's enough for some people. If you can play the graphical fidelity version that normally is 30 at 60, that's enough for some people. And if it is, great. But if you're looking for, the ray tracing side, that's even with VRR, you're not going to get above 30. And I'm never going to use that because I'm not playing in 30 FPS. And so that's my overall thoughts. It's a decent upgrade to the PS5, but it has caveats. And even if you look at this video here that Baldylocks posted, I think it was Baldylocks. Where is it? No, it wasn't Baldylocks. I apologize. It was not Baldylocks. If you look at this video here of Dragon's Dogma 2, right? They're going to show you some frames in a minute. But they don't ever show you the taxing areas of the actual cities. They don't show you those. They just show you the areas where the game runs relatively good anyway, which makes no sense. And this is the problem that I see with majority of these videos. Show me the areas that are actually being CPU bottlenecked, like Chapter 3, for example. 5 extra frames? Wow! £700 for 5 extra frames. It's not it. Right, this is almost at 60 anyway, so who cares? What they should have been showing here is the actual performance for Chapter 3, where the CPU is severely bottlenecked. And no one is really doing that, not even Digital Foundry. And there's a reason for that. Because if they showed that, they would show just how much the PS5 Pro is limited with the CPU, which is its biggest problem. If they upgraded the CPU on the PS5 Pro to something like a 3.8 native and then gave it a 10% additional turbo mode to be able to hit somewhere near 4 gigahertz, it would have been justifiable for its price. And it would have been in a much better place. But the fact that they didn't do that and they limited the CPU, it's a problem. And there's a reason why no one is showing you CPU intensive areas, because it will crash and crumble like the base PS5, because it's the same Zen 2 CPU at the same speed. Like I said, there are some games that benefit, but as long as the game isn't pushing the CPU, you'll see some benefits. Like over here in this open area, you can see it. I mean, it's supposed to be a more powerful console, right? So if it didn't actually outperform, you'd be asking, why isn't it doing what it's supposed to do at the base minimum? So telling me that it runs like 10 frames above, that's not special. Go to the areas that are really stressing the game and show me that scene. And no one is doing that. And the question I have to ask is, why are they not doing that? What are they hiding? What is it that they don't want you to see? And that's the real question. And then you've got the Digital Foundry out there. Instead of comparing the PS5 Pro to the PS5 so you can see if it's worth your money upgrade, they're actually comparing it to the Series X, which makes no sense. Why are you comparing it to a console that is £300 less? Technically £400 less, right? Because the Series X comes with a disc drive. Now, if you actually take the disc drive away and go with the all digital, it's way less. So that's like saying, all right, I'm going to compare my 3090 Ti to the PS5 Pro. That makes no logical sense. So those comparisons that they're doing are purely for console war basis, and it's dumb. Just like I said in my last video, it is stupid. This comparison that you're seeing here is the logical one that you should be looking at, because then you can see if it's worth you upgrading from the PS5 to the PS5 Pro. The moment you start seeing them comparing it to the Series X, it makes no sense. You are comparing a new console to a 4 or 5 year old console. That's beyond recognition. The PS4 games themselves as well. I mean, if you're looking at the boost that the PS4 gets, it's just a sharpness thing that happens. They're not getting the FPS boost that Xbox gamers get with their backwards compatibility. All it does is just makes the sharpness better, ever so slightly. $1,000 words or more. Yeah, Hoodrick, good luck with that, buddy. Good luck with that. When you wake up, let me know how it was. I don't think it was Devastator. No Man's Sky isn't really a demanding game. Graphically, it's a simple game, so they can extract more. I mean, the One X is, it's still a decent console. It's not that much weaker than a Series S. But like, if I was a consumer, a PlayStation fan, as a consumer, I want to see comparisons between the PS5 and the Pro, so I can decide whether my purchase of the PS5 Pro is actually worth it. Right? That makes sense, right? I've got a PS5. I want to see if me upgrading to the Pro is actually worthwhile. If the difference between them is actually that big of a difference where it warrants me spending $700 on the console, or if you trade your own in, you pay $400-500 on top and get it with the drive, yada yada yada. Comparing it to the NES or the Super Nintendo or the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, as you guys know it in the US, or the Sega Saturn or the Dreamcast, is nigh on brain rot, zombie brain dead, right? There's no reason for that. There's literally no reason to compare. I mean, even if they compared it to the PS4, it makes no sense. The only reason you would compare it to consoles of lesser value, that's got nothing to do with your ecosystem for those looking to upgrade, is the console war. And that's exactly what that's literally the purpose of what Digital Foundry is doing. I think the PS5 Pro should have been priced at $599.99, and that should have been its retail price. Slightly more expensive than the base console at most, at max. Because I think the PS5 now is like, what, $499.99 before the Pro came out. It was $500, give or take. So $100 more, I think would have been, is about right. But overall, if you are a PS5 owner and you like your PS5 and you have a VRR enabled display and are cool with frame generation, then you'll notice decent upgrades to some games. But you won't really see the benefit until next year, when games are built for it. Everything you're seeing now are games that you're not going to go back and play. Like, people are showing off games that they're now playing, that they've platinumed, and they're going back like it's awesome. It's not. When the PS5 Pro launched, it should have had one or two games that actually showcased its true capabilities, and they failed to do that. Instead, they relied on older games and last generation games to showcase what it can do. And some games right now are doing well post-patch, some games are not. Some games are actually performing worse, which doesn't make sense, but they are. So take that as you will. So for me, it's been a mixed bag. Until Dawn, for example, instead of the 40 frames per second that was running on the PS5, actually ran silky smooth 60 FPS on the Pro. So when I was streaming that at the time, and I said this game feels like it was designed and built for the PS5 Pro, it was built for the PS5 Pro. There was no stutter, no frame drops from what I played, about 15-20 minutes. It just ran smooth. Yeah, Tim Dog is on some kind of Kool-Aid. The PS6 will not be 600. The fact that the PS5 Pro was able to get away with 700 without a drive, you can assume that the next consoles coming are going to be minimum 700 without a drive. Minimum. I think they will more or less be around 800 without a drive. and then push around 9 with a drive, with the drive being optional. Oh, Rum Punch. Burning Rangers was such a good game. I really, really wanted them to remake that. That was one game that I really wanted Sega to remake. It's such a good game. Really horrible to control nowadays, considering what we're used to. But I really wish they actually remade Burning Rangers. I think that was one game that I'm sad they that didn't really come back. But it just doesn't make sense, right? Comparing it to a 4 or 5-year-old console like the Series X, it doesn't make sense. There's zero value to gain there outside of console warring. I mean, if you're paying £700-800 for a console and it's not outperforming a £400 console, shouldn't you be asking questions? Like, where's the logic in that? If it's and at that point, like I said, if you're going to compare an £800 console to a £400 console, why aren't you comparing a £2,000 PC to the Pro? If you're going to compare double, why not compare double the other way as well? That doesn't suit their narrative, obviously, so they won't do that. But shouldn't it work both ways? Shouldn't we now be comparing the 3080s and the 3090s or the 4080s to the PS5 Pro? If they're going to compare 4-year-old tech? Or as D-Batch was pointing out, 6-year-old tech? He's now, he's trying to take a W by saying that a console released in 2024 is outperforming hardware that was released in 2018. Where is the logic in this? There is no logic. There is no logic. Exactly, Woodpit. Inflation alone is going to destroy that. Demolisher? What is FG? It's not ringing a bell at the moment, sorry. Hey, who knows, man? Maybe Mike Cerny will invite him to dinner. And to board meetings. Maybe that's what he's waiting for. He doesn't outperform everything. He just got. But like I said. Oh, frame generation. Right. Yeah, frame generation adds input lag. It does. It will always add input lag. But that's my thoughts on the PS5 Pro through my testing. PS5 base console should be compared to the PS6 base price and not the Pro Enthusiast model, meant for 20% of the player base max. PS6 won't cost more than $600. It's going to cost way more than $600. It is going to cost way more because it's going to be higher tech. And as we've seen, prices are going up, not down. I mean, this generation was the first time in any generation I've seen where prices of consoles have gone up mid-gen. The price of the Series X went up. The price of the PS5 went up. And it's only going to continue in that trajectory. It's not going to go down. But like I said, to me, it makes no sense. You should be comparing the Pro to the 5 to see if it's worth your upgrade. But if you want to start comparing it to a £400 console, then I think the opposite should be done as well, where you're comparing it to a £1,500, £2,000 PC to see if it's worth your while upgrading to something superior. The PS5 did just drop. They undercut Xbox. It's going to go back up to its normal price. It's for Black Friday, Bruno. Damn, Moon Knight. That's insane. Woodpit, I'd do the same too. But I probably won't. Whole grain, I 100% see it being 700. I mean, we'll, in 2 years' time, we'll see what Xbox is doing. And we'll have that discussion and we'll have that conversation. And if I'm wrong, you know what? I will happily take that L. But, I do not see next generation consoles being less than £700. I just don't see it. What do you think of the Nier Automata collaboration dropping at the same time as Stalker 2? Ron, does that mean it's not going to the PS5? Gerard Prime, what's up? I think ARM is just too early at the moment, Safo. And they will have already set the processor and stuff pretty much already by now. Or by next year anyway, and I just think ARM is too early in its life cycle. Once you set that sort of precedent, whole grain bread, shareholders look at that, and if it sells like the 20% people are saying, next gen is going to be even more powerful, which means even more costly. Is what it is. Is what it is. But hey, at least unlike some people, I gave my PS5 to my son for free. I didn't sell it to him. Well, I think you'll be happy because apparently, according to Eurogamer, Stellar Blade is coming to PC in 2025. No release date was given yet. Game will be available via Steam and Epic Game Store. Ask and you shall receive, Ventura. Nah, it's going to be more, Cygnus. It's going to be more. I mean, I hope it's not, but it will be. But yeah. Anything else anyone wants to talk about? That's all the news updates and information I have for today. I'll be playing Final Fantasy XIV tomorrow with the new update. Hopefully I can get to a high enough level to actually think. The Stellar Blade update seems to be insane though. They are going rock hard. I guess the one last thing I have is this, which clearly shows Sony branching out to other hardware. It's interesting. It's also amusing to see it on the Switch. Man, everyone's grips go on these, man. Jesse, I will be, yeah. It'll probably be over at Twitch. So if you want to check that out, feel free to follow me over there. They're charging $800 for a mid-gen upgrade, and people think next gen will be less money. That's what I'm saying, Steve. It doesn't make any sense. It's just it doesn't. It's not logical. It's not going to. It's not going to be. It's not going to be 600. They saw Concord as their Star Wars as well. It didn't really work out for them, did it? Concord was supposed to be their next Star Wars IP. Herman Holst oversaw that like his baby. He cradled that game to perfection. That was his love child. And well, we saw how that ended. I mean, at the end of the day, companies can price their consoles at whatever they want. It's down to Lovely goalpost moving there, Cygnus. I love it. I love it. That goalpost moving right there. It came in on the final count of the day, but no stream is complete without a goalpost being moved. You gotta love to see it. Well, folks, if there's no other bits of news that you want to check out, then I think we are done for today. Again, I'm going to be around tomorrow over at twitch.tv/Chaos Lounge streaming. For those of you that want to check out the new Final Fantasy XIV update that just released today. So I'll definitely be checking that out. But otherwise, I will catch every one of you in the next stream because I don't think there's anything else other than the fact that it'll be an interesting year. 2025 is going to be an interesting year. 2025 is going to be an interesting year. At the end of the day, shareholders only care about money, Cygnus. Clearly, Concord did not work. But what's insane is that Herman Holst is the one that should take a lot of the responsibility, and no one is holding him accountable. That's a scary thought. That right there is a scary thought. But anyway, folks, that's it. That's going to be me for tonight. I hope you all had enjoyed the stream, a good time. And I will see some of you tomorrow over at Twitch. Otherwise, I'll see you back here on Thursday or in my next video. Peace out, everyone. Have a good night. And I'll see you next time. As always, remain legend. And Clarke, I hope this stream, helped you out. Put you in a better mood than you was in. Take it easy, guys. Peace. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Especially you PlayStation fans. I know you like to clip me and then hide in the stables and not tag me while you're doing it. So you should follow and subscribe. Peace.